After the family reunion, I pulled out my phone to check my bank balance and froze. Zero. Every cent gone. My brother-in-law let out a snort from across the room. "We needed it more than you," he said, like it was obvious. My hands shook as I reached into my bag. "Then you won't mind what comes next," I said quietly. They laughed, until a deafening crash rattled the walls. The front door burst open. Seth leaned against the fridge, beer in hand, that same smug smirk plastered across his face. "Relax, we needed it more than you." I stared at my screen, thumb hovering over refresh. Third time? Still $87. Yesterday I'd had over $14,000. 14,000. What? My voice cracked. Sarah, lounging on the couch with wine in hand, barely glanced up. Legs tucked beneath her, she looked like we were mid-game night. "Don't be so dramatic. It's not like we stole it. We're family. You emptied my account. It's not stealing if we pay it back." Seth shrugged. Eventually, I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. Mom sat knitting across the room, eyes down. "Mom," I said louder. She sighed, like I'd just insulted her casserole. "You're always so sensitive. You've got a good job, no mortgage, no kids. You live alone. You're fine. So that justifies robbing me?" "Language, Mason," Dad muttered without looking up from his phone. I turned to Sarah. "How did you even get access?" "You left your login on the family computer," she said, unflinching. "Maybe next time don't log in and walk away." "Honestly, your own fault." I stopped myself. Fists clenched. Breath shallow. "You're blowing this way out of proportion," Seth said. "We didn't blow it on nonsense, rent, groceries, survival. You didn't ask." "We didn't think we had to," Sarah snapped. "You've been footing the bill for years. What's the difference if it flows through you or straight from you?" I slowly picked up my bag. No one moved. No one apologized. No one even looked surprised. "Leaving already?" Mom asked. "Yep," I said, zipping my coat. "But don't worry, I'll be in touch." "Don't be like this." Sarah rolled her eyes. "We needed it more than you. That's just facts." I gripped the doorknob, paused. "Then you won't mind what's coming next." They laughed again. Outside, something had already begun. "You always helped. That's what you're for, right? Hey, you okay?" My cousin Jen caught up to me as I marched toward my car, jaw locked, fists tight. "No," I muttered, yanking open the door. "I heard what Sarah said." She added carefully. "That wasn't right." I didn't answer. If I spoke, I'd scream. This wasn't new. For years, I'd been the responsible one. Stable job, no dependents, no drama. Somehow that made me the family ATM. It started small. Sarah forgot her phone bill, I covered it. Seth lost his job. I loaned him a little something. A birthday gift for their daughter? I offered to pitch in, except they never asked. They just assumed, and every time they acted like I owed it to them. "You're lucky, Mason," Mom would say, sweetly laced with steel. "You don't have the struggles your sister does. God gave you ease so you could share it. Family means supporting each other." Dad chimed in more than once. Translation, "We gave you life. Now give us your paycheck." I never asked for help. Not when I was laid off for 6 months and survived on rice and eggs. Not when I skipped vacations for 3 years to rebuild savings. Not even when I paid off their credit card debt 2 years ago. They never repaid me. Never thanked me. "Still coming to the reunion?" Sarah asked last week. "Yeah," I replied. "Bring anything?" Her answer came fast. "Just bring yourself and your card." I thought it was a joke. Now I know it wasn't. 2 days later, Sarah called. I didn't answer. She called again. And again. Then Seth texted, "Just call her, man." She's freaking out. I finally picked up on the 5th ring. "Mason," she whispered, shaky. "We have a problem." "Oh, we do?" "Don't be like that." "Something happened. The power company came today. We're way behind. They're shutting it off Monday unless we pay." Pause. "So, we need your help." I let out a short, bitter laugh. "You drained my savings, and now you're asking for more?" "It wasn't just for us," she snapped. "Some went to Mom and Dad, too. Dad's car broke down last month, remember? We didn't tell you because you always say no unless it's an emergency." "Sarah," I said flatly, "this isn't just messed up. It's criminal. You're being dramatic. It's family. You didn't ask me. You didn't say no. You've always helped. That's what you're for, right?" There it was again. That night, I couldn't sleep. I replayed every moment. The favors, the transfers, the way Mom called me the strong one, the way Sarah rolled her eyes if I hesitated. They never saw me as a brother, a son, a person, just a resource. 3 days later, Mom called. "We need to talk." "No, how are you?" "No, what about your money?" "Just family dinner. Tonight." My stomach dropped. "What's this really about?" "You've caused a lot of tension," she said softly. I went anyway. Part of me wanted answers. The other part wanted to see if they'd even pretend to feel remorse. They didn't. Sarah sat arms crossed. Seth looked bored. Mom clinked plates too loudly. Dad flipped through mail like nothing happened. "So," Sarah began as I sat, "are we going to act like adults or what? Depends. You ready to confess to felony theft?" She scoffed. "God, you're so extra." "It wasn't theft. It was family money. You always help. We needed it." Seth nodded. "You can spare it." "Why the drama?" "I didn't give permission." "You didn't say no either," Sarah muttered. I turned to Mom. "And you're just okay with this?" She looked away. We all agreed. "You've always been the one who could handle it." No one thought to ask. "We trusted you," Dad added. "Trusted you to do what's right." I stood. "What's right? Letting you steal from me?" from me while smiling to my face. Stop saying steal, Sarah shouted. It was for the family. Then you won't mind when the family deals with the consequences? What does that mean? Seth narrowed his eyes. I didn't answer. Not yet. When I stepped inside the house again, everyone was waiting. Mom setting the table too loudly. Dad flipping channels. Sarah by the window, jaw tight. Seth lounging like he was about to watch a game, not face consequences. Well, look who showed up, Sarah said dryly. I dropped my bag by the door. Let's just get this over with. Good. Seth grinned. Maybe we can finally stop pretending you were robbed. I was robbed. I sat. That was the cue. Mom cleared her throat. Mason, we know you're upset, but you have to understand. We were struggling. No other options. Sarah and Seth were drowning, and you, Dad added, you've always been the stable one. We knew we could count on you. You didn't ask, I said, voice icy. You took, that's not family. That's theft. Sarah rolled her eyes. You're being so dramatic. We didn't waste it on crap. We used it where it mattered. No. I reached into my bag, pulled out a printed spreadsheet, and slammed it on the table. $72 on makeup, $900 on takeout, $2,300 to pay off Seth's car loan. Seth leaned forward, face dark. You went through our accounts? Oh, I did more than that. I opened my laptop. Screen lit up, a color-coded breakdown. Every charge, every transfer, all traceable. I compiled every transaction, filed a fraud report. Guess what? They got back to me. Sarah's eyes widened. You didn't. I did. You called the police? She shrieked. I turned to Mom. Still think this is just family business? This is insane, Dad snapped. You want to put your own sister in jail? You put yourselves there. Then came the knock. 3 hard pounds against the door. Sarah went pale. Seth stood too fast. Mom gasped. Dad froze. Open up, a voice shouted. Financial Crimes Unit. Knock, knock, knock. Seth turned to me, voice low. Mason, tell me you're not serious. I opened the door. 3 agents stepped in. Jackets marked in bold letters. One held a clipboard. Another a tablet. The third scanned the room. You Mason Carver? Yes. Thank you for your cooperation. We'll take it from here. Mom covered her mouth. Sarah collapsed into a chair. Seth stood dumbstruck. One agent turned to them. You're listed as parties of interest in an open case of financial fraud and identity theft. Identity theft? Mom cried. He's our son. The agent didn't blink. Family ties don't make illegal activity legal, ma'am. We didn't steal anything, Sarah cried. We had a right. He always helped us. Thinking you're entitled to someone's money doesn't make it yours, another agent said calmly. Remain seated, please. I just stood back and watched. For the first time in my life, they didn't talk over me, didn't mock me, didn't laugh. Mom turned to me, voice trembling, eyes filling. Mason, please, we didn't mean to hurt you. We were desperate. You've always been the strong one, the only one we could count on. I looked her dead in the eyes. You don't get to cry. Now, she covered her mouth and sobbed. Sarah tried to speak, but no words came. Seth looked ready to bolt, but sat under the agent's stares. You want to talk about what family is? I stepped forward. It's trust, respect, asking, not assuming, not stealing, not laughing while you bleed me dry. They said nothing. I grabbed my bag, turned to the lead agent. I'll be outside. This time, they didn't stop me. You're free now, Mason. Don't go back. I left in silence. No one chased me. No one called my name. No guilt, no drama, no Sarah shrieking, how could you? Just cold night air. And the crunch of tires behind me as investigators escorted them out, one by one. I didn't stay to watch. That night, I drove without destination, past closed shops, glowing gas stations, my phone buzzing nonstop in the passenger seat. I didn't answer a single call, didn't want to hear apologies dressed as excuses. By midnight, I parked outside the only place that ever felt like safety, my grandmother's old house. She'd passed years ago, but I still had the key. She used to say, if they ever turn on you, Mason, come here. The door will always open for you. That night, it did. I slept 11 hours straight. No texts, no guilt, no tension crushing my chest like it always did near my family. When I woke, I made coffee in a chipped mug, stood at the window, watched the sun crawl over the fence behind which she used to garden. For the first time in years, I could breathe, but the silence didn't last. First email came that afternoon, from Dad. This has gone too far. You've humiliated the entire family. What happened to loyalty? I didn't reply. Then Sarah texted, I hope you're happy. They're freezing my accounts. Seth's being investigated at work. You ruined our lives over a couple of payments. A couple? Try tens of thousands. Try 5 years of silent sacrifice. Then came Mom's voicemail. Soft, cracking. You didn't have to do it this way. We could have handled it like a family, Mason. Sweetheart, please. They're threatening charges. They said we might lose the house. I replayed that line. They might lose the house. Suddenly I wasn't angry. Wasn't vindictive, I just didn't care. Because I'd already lost a home years ago when they decided I was worth more as a bank account than a son. 2 days passed. Then, a message from someone unexpected. Seth's brother. We weren't close. Maybe exchanged 5 words at birthdays. His text was simple. Just so you know. Sarah's trying to shift blame onto you. Says you knew and approved the transfers. There's a lawyer involved. Watch your back. I almost laughed. Even now, even with everything crumbling, she was still spinning. That night, I called my lawyer. Send everything, I said. Not just pressing charges. I want a restraining order too, but not every message message was hostile. A week later, an email from Kelly, Seth's sister. I know we haven't spoken in years, but I just wanted to say you were right about how they treat you, about how toxic it's gotten. I used to think you were cold. Now I think you were brave. I stared at her message a long time. Brave. No one in my family had ever called me that. One morning, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost declined, but something told me to answer. Mason? Small, hoarse voice. It's Sarah. I stayed silent. She kept talking. Look, I know I messed up, okay? I went too far. I didn't think it'd go like this. Seth's suspended. Mom won't stop crying. Dad won't even speak to me. And you? She hesitated. You always had the power to ruin everything, and you finally did. I didn't speak for a moment. Then flatly, I didn't ruin anything. I just stopped letting you walk over me. Yolanda, can you just stop it now? Drop the charges, please. I'll do anything. Just make it stop. I almost felt something. Almost. Then I remembered what she'd said the night of the reunion. We needed it more than you. I smiled bitterly. No, you made this mess. You live in it. And I hung up. That night, I cooked dinner in peace. Played my favorite college album, sat on the porch with coffee, watched the world go by, and for the first time since I was a teenager, no one asked me for money. No one guilt-tripped me. No one made me feel valuable only when I was giving. I wasn't their wallet anymore. I was just me, and that was enough. I'm not your bank, not your backup plan. I'm done. It's strange how quiet peace is. No one tells you that. You imagine fireworks, loud music, grand celebration. But for me, peace sounded like no one asking for money, no one calling me selfish, no one sending long texts, since you're the only one doing well. Just silence, glorious, uninterrupted silence. 3 months have passed since I blew it all up. 3 months since the investigation began, since my family stared at me in shock as agents walked through their front door, and reality finally punched through. Years of delusion. They say you can't choose your family. Maybe that's true, but you can choose how much of yourself you're willing to lose, trying to keep them happy. And I was done losing. The fallout came. Fast Sarah and Seth scrambled for damage control first. A lawyer emailed my attorney, offering to privately resolve things. No apology. No ownership. Just containment. I told my lawyer, let it burn. A week later, Mom sent a letter. 10 pages, her handwriting neat, but trembling in parts. She wrote about how things got out of hand, how they never meant to hurt me, how she hoped I could see the bigger picture. We just assumed you'd always be there, she wrote. That's what good sons do. That line stuck, because it said everything. Not we were wrong. Not you didn't deserve that. Just, you were supposed to stay quiet and keep giving. I didn't write back. Didn't call. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilty about it. I moved. New apartment, new state. No surprise visits. No accidental drop-ins. I even changed my number. My boss noticed how focused I'd become and offered me a promotion. I took it. Funny how much better you perform at work when you're not secretly juggling your sister's car payments and your mom's overdue bills behind the scenes. I sleep better now, eat better, breathe better, because I'm no longer carrying 4 people on my back who refuse to say thank you. Then one morning, a letter arrived. No return address. Inside, a check for $200 and a handwritten note I left him. You were right. I was scared, but watching what you did gave me the courage to walk away too. This is for everything you paid for. Ellie, for the tablet, the rent, the clothes. I know Seth never thanked you, but I am. Thank you for being the example I needed. Kelly, I read it twice. Then I cried. Not from sadness, not from pain, but because for the first time, someone in that family saw me, not as a wallet, not as a scapegoat, but as a person. People ask me sometimes, do you regret it? Answer's simple. No, I regret waiting so long. I regret every sleepless night, every canceled vacation, every tight budget I lived under while they dined out, shopped, and posted grateful family vibes on Instagram. I regret making myself small so they could feel big. I regret every time I stayed silent when I should have said, you're crossing a line. But do I regret standing up? Burning it down? Never. My therapist once asked me, why did it take you so long to say no? I said, because I thought saying no meant I didn't love them. She nodded. Saying no is how you teach people to love you back. I've never forgotten that. A few days ago, I ran into someone from high school. Hey, she said, I saw what happened with your family. That's wild. I braced for judgment or pity. Instead, she smiled. Good for you. Most people never get out. I thanked her. Then I walked away, feeling a little taller. Sarah and Seth are still under investigation. Last I heard, Seth lost his job. Sarah's accounts are frozen. Mom's trying to refinance the house. Dad's blaming outside influence for tearing the family apart. They still don't get it. I didn't tear anything apart. I just stopped, pretending the pieces were still whole. Sometimes I get flashbacks that night. The table. Sarah laughing as I checked my account. Seth grinning like it was a joke. Mom brushing it off. You don't need that money. And now they know the truth. That money wasn't just money. It was my life, my time, my health, my boundaries, and they crossed them for years, like it meant nothing. Now they pay the price. I don't celebrate celebrate their downfall, but I celebrate myself for surviving it, for walking away, for not going back, even when the silence felt lonely, even when the guilt whispered in my ear, like it used to, because that silence, it's freedom. So if you're reading this and you've been the strong one, the responsible one, the good son or good daughter expected to pay and never say a word, let me tell you what I wish someone had told me. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. You're allowed to stop. You're allowed to walk away. And when you do, you don't lose a family, you find yourself.